So hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now in this video we're going to be talking about my absolute favourite way to grind for money and weapon XP here in The Hunter Call of the Wild. Now we are here on Emerald Coast, the newest map in The Hunter Call of the Wild, and we are going to be taking a look at this area right here. This particular coastline is an absolute gold mine when it comes to making cash and making weapon XP here in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Now you can see that I'm using some tents along this beach, but you don't need tents to be able to do this. As you can see, there is actually an outpost at the top of this beach and at the bottom just a few hundred meters away from this beach, and the reason this beach is so incredible is because all the way along it there are saltwater crocodile resting zones. Now you can see this one here is from 1600 to 2000, but the actual time that you go along this beach really doesn't matter, as they will be resting along this beach all day, and it really doesn't matter what time you actually go along this coast, you will find saltwater crocodiles. And we're going to start off with one right here. We can see we have a level 6 and we're actually going to shoot him with the 243 soft point rounds. Now when you start this game out, you start with the 243 and the soft point rounds, and I just wanted to test out and see if you could actually bring down a crocodile with your actual starting gun and ammo in this game, and as you can see both of those shots actually went through to vitals, so you can in fact come here and kill crocodiles along this coastline at the very beginning of the game as long as you own this map. Now this is a DLC map, but I would highly recommend getting it purely because it is just such a gold mine when it comes to cash and XP. Now as you can see, that crocodile just died and has now floated to the surface, and this is something that is really useful, is when the crocodiles actually do go into the water and die, they will float to the surface and then float back to where you shot them. So you don't actually have to sit and wait for these guys to float in. If you want to, you can shoot one, know that it's going to die and has gone into the water, and then you know it is going to end up floating back to the shore where you shot it, so you can continue along the beach shooting crocodiles just on and on and on, and then once you reach the end of the beach you can turn around and come back along and pick them all up, as they will have floated to where you shot them. So you don't actually have to sit and wait for each individual crocodile to float back in. If you don't want to, you can just continue going along shooting them and then turn around at the end of the beach, come back and pick them all up, which is really nice. You know, it means that you don't actually have to wait and waste time. You can just continue on and continue shooting and then just do a run back through, even with an ATV maybe along the beach, and then just pick up all those crocodiles that will have died and floated back to where you shot them from. So that is really handy. But once again, we have just shot a crocodile with the 243. Once again, we did get into vitals and it has died. Now you'll notice that we are going to be losing one of the harvest checks because this isn't actually an ethical weapon to be taking a crocodile with. It's more than capable of killing them, as you can see, but you are going to lose a little bit of cash and XP just because it isn't an ethical weapon. You will also lose a medal if you fail any of those harvest checks. So because we shot this with unethical ammo, it's gone from being a silver down to being a bronze, so you just want to make sure that you don't shoot any diamond potentials, so any legendaries or any rares or anything that you don't want to lose the medal on with an unethical type of ammo, and you want to make sure that you're getting the vitals and all of those other checks if you want to keep the medal. However, if you're not concerned about keeping the medal and you are just grinding for cash and XP, then it really does not matter. Like I said, you will lose a little bit of cash and XP if you're not using ethical weapons and stuff and losing checks, but you're still going to make so much cash and XP just from doing this beach run because of the amount of crocodiles you can kill in a relatively short amount of time. Now this crocodile here I actually just shot with birdshot to see if you could actually kill a croc with birdshot, and you can actually in fact kill a crocodile with birdshot. So you can see we're losing 3 of the 4 harvest checks there, but we're still, even for a level 1 female, getting 601 cash, and we will get weapon score from that. And this is the thing, even if you're having to start off with the weapons and, you know, ammo types that aren't ethical and they're really not great for bringing these guys down, you're still gonna make really good amounts of cash and XP just because of how easy it is to hunt these guys. You know, you're not having to go out and sneak around to actually hunt these, you can just run along the beach and you can get really close to crocs that even aren't aggressive just by running along the beach. They will let you get really close, a lot closer than most animals will, you know, just by running up to them, and then you have a really good chance of these guys going aggressive. It is amazing how often these guys will go aggressive, and then they bring themselves to you, so you don't have to worry about trying to get a close shot because they are going to bring themselves to you. And this is just another really great factor about these crocs. So if you're grinding for something like shotgun score, it's so easy. You just run along the beach, wait for them to go aggressive and run to you, shoot them a few times with a shotgun, they'll end up dying, and then you can collect them. In fact, I actually need to grind a little bit of shotgun score, so that actually is helpful for me running along the beach and shooting them with the shotgun. Now, I shot this one with birdshot. The other crocodiles I shoot with this shotgun in this video are actually going to be with buckshot, and the buckshot is a little bit more effective on these guys than the birdshot obviously is. But something else, even if you're trying to get something like bow score, the crocodiles make this extremely easy too because of that aggression factor. You can see we actually had one go aggressive, and I was waiting for that one to come and attack me, and whilst waiting for that one to come and attack me, a different crocodile actually came up from behind me and actually took a bite out of me. So I turned around and shot that one with the bow with the 420 grain arrows, and as you can see, this one isn't actually going to make it all that far before it actually dies. So, you know, rather than having to go and sneak up on animals and try and get really, really close to something like some of the deer species to try and grind bow score, just run along this beach, wait for crocodiles to go aggressive and bring themselves to you, and you're going to have a really easy time making some of this score up. You can see that even the 420 grain arrows, which are actually ethical for the crocodiles, they do a really fantastic job. That penetration really is amazing, and you can see it goes straight through double lung there, so really, really fantastic, and brought her down nice and quickly. And you're going to see throughout this video the amounts of cash and weapon XP that I'm getting for these different kills. I left that in so you can see that, and it racks up so quickly. In fact, for a recent video, I decided to take a Great One fallow deer that I had spawn with one of the handguns, and I wanted to be able to use the handgun scope, but I actually hadn't unlocked it since I reset my account way back, several months ago at this point, but I actually hadn't gone and grinded for handgun score to actually unlock that handgun scope, which is this scope that we're going to be using in this clip right here. So all I did was come out to Emerald Coast, run along the beach and a little bit into the swamps at either end of the beach, and just wait for crocodiles to go aggressive and shoot them with the best handgun that I had, and I managed to rack up the weapon score needed to unlock that scope really, really quickly. I think it only took me between an hour and a half and 2 hours, something like that, to actually be able to unlock the scope, which was really nice and quick in comparison to, you know, other times where I've had to go and grind for weapon XP by sneaking around and trying to get close to animals. You know, something like a handgun, and especially a handgun without a scope, trying to get close enough to animals where you can actually make a shot becomes quite difficult. But with something like the crocodiles, it's so simple because you can just wait for them to go aggressive and come and attack you, and then you've got a really nice close-up shot that you can make. In fact, I haven't even technically unlocked the Rhino 454 on this account yet. I have the Sunberg 454 as it was a gift from EW to players a little while ago, but I still haven't actually unlocked the Rhino 454 itself, and I haven't unlocked the better ammo for the 454 either. And the way I am going to grind handgun score for the Rhino 454 and for the better ammo is by coming out here and grinding crocodiles, because it is so simple. I also need shotgun score, as I haven't actually unlocked the shotgun scope either on this particular account since I reset, like I said, and I really want to get that scope just so that it makes things a little bit easier. And the way I'm going to grind shotgun score is by coming out and shooting these guys with either buckshot or slugs. Probably slugs just to make things a little bit easier, but even with buckshot, you get a really decent amount of score. So if you can come out here even with the beginning shotgun and either birdshot or ideally buckshot, because you are going to get more weapon score from the buckshot, I noticed, then you're going to make shotgun score. And like I said, it just makes things easy. You don't need decoys or anything like this to try and get these guys to come close like you do with the bird species, and you're gonna rack up a really good amount of cash and score from these guys. I mean, this is a level 6 male, and you can see we're missing 3 out of 4 of the harvest harvest checks, and we're still going to get 1,000 cash and a really good, a decent amount, I would say, of shotgun score from actually killing this guy. And like I said, okay, it might not be the absolute most cash that you can get out of these, or the absolute most shotgun score that you could possibly get, but because you can kill so many in such a short amount of time, and because they are so easy to get close to, the amount of time that you save, in my opinion, makes this a really, really fantastic way to actually come out and grind for the money and the weapon score. It's just really fantastic. And of course, as you're going to be unlocking more weapons and ammo and stuff that is actually ethical for these guys, then you're going to be getting more money out of them and more score, so it will actually just sort of increase as time goes by. So it's really worth doing, in my opinion. And you can technically do this in multiplayer. If you do not own Emerald Coast, you can go into multiplayer for free and play on other people's maps and go and run this coastline and shoot the crocodiles. So you can do this even if you don't own Emerald Coast yourself. I would highly recommend purchasing the map because it is, in my opinion, one of the best maps in the game, and in my opinion, this coastline alone being so good for cash and XP makes it worth it. And another really nice bonus is the crocodiles are a cool species. Of course, you can get diamonds from them from the level 9 legendaries. That's what you are looking for the diamonds. But they also have 5 different rares. There's the light brown, the albino, the leucistic, the melanistic, and the piebald variants for these guys, all of which look really, really cool. So you can, by being out here grinding for cash or weapon score, if you're doing it in single player and doing it time and time again, you might end up with some really cool trophies from this as well. So it's sort of an extra bonus. And even if you don't own this map and you go and do this in multiplayer by running, you know, other people's maps and running along this coastline and shooting things, you never know, you might still find a really cool trophy that hasn't been seen by the original owner of that server, so you might end up with a cool trophy that way too. In fact, my albino crocodile was actually on this beach in multiplayer right next to a level 9, so you never know what you might end up finding if you decide to do this coast run in multiplayer too. So that is a really nice bonus. And on top of that, something that you don't have to worry about with this is hunting pressure. It does not matter how many times you run along this beach and cover it with hunting pressure, the crocodiles are always going to come back. They might not come back in exactly the same spot along the beach, but they will still come back. I have run along this beach and deleted the zones so many times, and because the crocodiles only have a limited home range, they are always going to spawn back on this beach. So it really doesn't matter how many times you run along here and absolutely destroy the need zones with hunting pressure, they will end up coming back here time and time again. So you don't have to worry about tripods or anything like that for actually grinding these guys, which is just really, really nice. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you don't need to worry about tents because there is a outpost right near the top of the beach and an outpost near the bottom end of the beach as well. So those two outposts make it really easy to access this beach. I have my tents at the top and bottom, like right next to the beach, just for extra ease of access basically, but it is only a couple of 100 meters run from those outposts to the beach itself, so you really don't actually need tents for that. It's just if you have tents, it makes things just a little bit even extra easy, so that's why I do it. But, you know, I'm actually running low on cash from doing so many Great One grinds recently and having to constantly change the time because of animals being late into their zones. I have become extremely low on cash, which you might actually notice in this video when we're in the harvest screens. And the way I am actually going to make money again in this game is by coming and grinding these crocodiles. There's also several trophies I'd like to get for the crocodiles. I'd love to get a melanistic, a leucistic, and a piebald, seeing as I've never had those rares. So I'm going to be coming out to Emerald Coast and grinding crocodiles, mainly along this beach. Like I said, you can venture into the swamps that are to the north and south of this beach, but you know, sometimes it's a little bit trickier to see the crocodiles in there, and it can just be a little bit tougher, whereas along this beach, it's so incredibly easy. And as I mentioned, once you start unlocking ethical weapons, like the 300 for example from the Yukon Valley DLC, you're going to have an absolute field day with making money from these crocodiles. I mean, you can see there's 4 sat here, and I'm just going to use the 300 and actually take them all out. Now, a couple of those shots were high and actually ended up spining these guys, but seeing as they weren't trophy quality crocodiles, I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to get them down for the extra cash, basically, because I am running super low on cash. And as you can see, when you're actually using the ethical weapons, we're getting some really good amounts of money from these guys. And just because there is so many in such a small space, and you can just run this place over and over again, it just makes it so incredibly simple that it's just in my opinion, the best way to come and make money. So for example, this one, we missed the vital check because we actually hit it in the spine, but still getting over 1,100 cash for this guy, which is a lot for just one animal when you've got 4 of them all clustered together like these guys were. And there was actually a 5th there, which warning calls, which we're going to take a look at in just a second, because that 5th crocodile that was there was a little bit of a surprise when I actually spotted him. But a couple of other nice crocodiles for some money. But taking a look at the 5th crocodile that was actually sat here, we actually do have a 9 legendary. So after just doing that one run of the coast and coming back, we actually have had a 9 legendary spawn. Now, he doesn't have the greatest estimate, being 904 to 1074. There's definitely chance that he could make diamond, but definitely a really good chance that he could troll. Now, making sure to keep the shot a little bit lower so that I would definitely get into the lungs, and that guy goes down instantly. So I thought I must have clipped spine as well, but I was pretty sure that that should have at least clipped the lungs. And honestly, I'm not going to complain at the fact that he went down instantly. And picking him up, he unfortunately is a troll at 999.37 score, not big enough to be a diamond. That shot was pretty much what I expected, top of the lungs, but still clipping the spine, which is why he went down instantly. But we did get the lungs, so we get the vital check as well. But a really nice crocodile, considering all I was doing was being out here just to demonstrate how good this beach is for actually grinding for weapon score and cash. But that is going to be it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed it. I really highly recommend Emerald Coast as a map in general, but it is extremely good for grinding XP and cash along this particular beach, as I mentioned, so I really do highly recommend it just for that. But like I said, you can do this in multiplayer too, so I really hope that this will be useful if you're trying to grind for some cash or some weapon XP. But that is going to be it for this one, so thank you so much for watching. Any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I will do my best to help as always, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.